Today on Armchair Operator Guns and Gear Reviews, we're going to take a look at one of Glock's newest offerings. We're going to look at the Glock 17L Gen 5 MOS. Let's get into it.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love.
What's happening, everybody? It's your big homie, the Armchair Operator, and welcome to today's video. Now, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find this video informative and maybe a little bit entertaining, and hopefully you'll come back for another one. And if you're coming back to the channel, thank you so much for coming back, spending this time with your big homie as I talk about these products. I hope you find this video informative and a little bit entertaining. Now, down to business. So, as I said in the intro, today we're going to talk about the Glock 17L Gen 5 MOS. Now, the Glock 17L is not a new handgun in and of itself. This is just the newest iteration of the 17L. And I first saw this gun like years and years ago, really when I first got into firearms. And it was just kind of like, I don't know, it just kind of struck me as weird because of this long behind barrel, right? But at the same time, it was kind of interesting too because it's not something that you really see every day. So when I found out that they came out with a Gen 5 version of this, I said, you know what? I got to go ahead and get my hands on this and just to see what it's all about. All right, now speaking of that, I got to give a huge shout out once again to the team over at the Bunker Gun Shop for providing a gun for this review. Now, I did purchase this gun through Bunker, just like I purchased most of my other guns through Bunker, which I'm sure you all are aware of that. But I'm going to just put their contact information up on the screen so that way you can head on over there, check them out, take a screenshot, pause the video, whatever you need to do. Just head on over there, give them a call. They will ship the out-of-state FFLs. And if you do go over there, just do me a favor and tell them that your big homie, the Armchair Operator, sent you. All right, so now down to business. So the Glock 17L. Basically what we're going to do is we're just going to do like my normal tabletop review, go through the specs, the features, what it comes with out of the box, and then just going to talk about really quickly about my first range experience with the gun. I only put 2 boxes through it so far. That's only about 100 rounds. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But for right now, we're just going to switch up real quick, head on over to the review space and take a deeper dive in this Glock 17L. All right, so let's head on over there and let's get down to business. All right, y'all, here we are in the review space with the Glock 17L Gen 5. Now, before we do anything, y'all know how I get down. Safety before everything. So we got to do a clear check, all right? So, as you can see, that the chamber is empty, magazine is empty, and this firearm is verified clear. And we are filming in a safe and controlled environment. There is no ammunition anywhere in my review space. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Glock 17L. So basically, the Glock 17L, like I said, is essentially their longest barrel 9mm full-size handgun, if you really want to call it that. This particular gun has a 6.1-inch barrel. So just to give you like a point of reference, you know, the Glock 19 has a 4-inch barrel, and the Glock 17 and the Glock 47, I believe, both have a 4.7-inch barrel, and the Glock 34 has a 5.34-inch barrel, if I'm not mistaken. So this one trumps all of them, coming in at 6 inches. And judging from the look of the gun itself, you can tell that this particular gun is meant for competition for the most part. And I say that because, well, first of all, let's look at the sights. So as you can see the sights up at the top, you have your standard Glock polymer sights that most people hate, you know, myself included. And you have the standard Glock sight picture with the U square in the back, whatever you want to call it, and the white dot front. Now, what makes this a little bit different is that the rear sight, I don't know if you can see these screws, let me turn it this way, let me see these screws, but the rear sight is adjustable. So, and it also comes with a tool in a little baggie here so that you can adjust the rear sight. If I can find it. It was in here. There it is. All right, so, yep, see? So this is the little tool that you can use to adjust the rear sight. So that's another difference, I should say, right then and there with this particular Glock handgun versus most other garden variety Glocks. All right, so we also have the MOS system, and it does come with a plate, optics mounting plate here, and the tool, as you can see. Earlier Gen 5s came with more MOS plates, but I guess at some particular point in time, Glock decided to offer less plate for whatever reason. Don't know why, but that's just what I got. And I bought this gun new just so that you know. Now, this particular gun was actually a 10-round compliant gun. So, as you can see, it comes with 3 magazines, but they're all limited to 10 rounds. So, all your Glock handguns, they're available in both your, I would say, restricted 10-round magazines, but of course you have your higher capacities available, like your 17 rounders and so on and so forth. And of course, all of those magazines will fit in this gun as well, because this is the full-size Glock frame, full-size 9mm frame, I should say. So moving on from there, we have your standard Gen 5 accoutrements, right? Replaceable back straps. This is the medium back strap. This is the larger back strap. And just in case, for those who might be curious, you can tell the difference in the size by the thickness of this. And there's a little L there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's an L denoting that it's the longer one. Okay. When you get the gun out of the box brand new, the back straps are not installed. But installing the back straps is actually very easy, and Glock gives you a tool in order to get that job done, okay? So all you really do is that you take this tool and just drive this pin out. Now, the standard pin that's in there is a little bit shorter than the pin that you would use to install and retain the back straps. This is the stock pin that comes on the gun without the back strap, and if you did not want to run the pistol with the back strap, this is the pin that you would use. It's a little shorter. Now, pushing the pin out is actually very easy. You can actually use the tool and it just pushes right out. You put another one in and just push it right into place and you're good to go. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to do that. It's not a big deal. Let me get this back in here. All right, so let's move on from there. So like I was saying, it comes with the 3 magazines. It comes with your little Glock magazine loader, which is customary with all Glock handguns. So that's cool. And we also have our cleaning brush, nylon brush here, and our cleaning rod. So that way you can keep your newly purchased Glock pistol cleaned and maintained. And also we have our cable lock for safety, because safety, right? So, I mean, that's essentially it as far as what comes with the gun. Like I said, it's just a basic, it comes with your basic Glock stuff, with maybe one tiny exception of the little tool there to adjust the rear sight. So now I will say, most of the time when I buy a new Glock handgun, the sights are the first things I upgrade, and that's no exception. This gun will be getting some new sights in the very near future. I'm not exactly sure which sights am I going to go with. Am I going to go with optic / suppressor height night sights like I have on my Glock 47? Or do I want to go with blacked out rear adjustable and a fiber optic front sight adjustable? I mean, basically, this particular gun for me is going to be more so, it's going to be more so a race gun, so to speak. You know, it's going to be one of these type of guns that, like, if I want to get it tuned or tricked out or whatever, and just to run the competition or just to have fun on the range, this is what this particular pistol will be for. It's a bit too large for concealed carry in my opinion, although if I really wanted to, I could probably do it, but it wouldn't be the most comfortable thing to do. Not only that, I have other Glock handguns that I can use for that purpose, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to use this for that purpose. But, and also, I think that this would, if I was working in, I used to work in armed security, so if I also at that time carried a Glock 35 as my duty sidearm, so I could use something like this in that capacity because I actually had a level 3 duty holster that I used for that sidearm. I could use that same holster for this if I wanted to. So I just say all that to say that if you wanted to, you could use this for duty use. You could use this for competition use or home defense use. So what you ultimately decide to use it for is up to you. Okay. Now let me talk about this trigger. So on the box, right, it says it's a 4.5 pound trigger. So I will say that the trigger pull on this it doesn't feel like a 4.5 pound trigger. Let me just say that. It doesn't feel like a 4.5 pound trigger to me, but it does feel a little lighter than that of your standard Glock 19 or Glock 17. So let me just, I'll ghost the trigger. I don't know if you can really pick it up, but where I'm going with that, but that's your basic wall. Go through and you got the reset. And there it is. So, I don't know. It does feel different in dry fire, and it does feel different handling on the range. Like I said, it's a little lighter. I don't know if it's a 4.5 pound trigger. So, take that for what you will. But it is slightly lighter. And, that's basically pretty much it. So, let's get to the range portion of this thing, shall we? All right, first shots. Glock 20, Glock 17L, excuse me.
A bit softer than I expected. Track it a bit to the left for me, but the trigger and the recoil impulse is a lot softer than I expected.
Sometimes when you have handguns that have long slides and barrels, they tend to dip a little bit forward. Like what I mean by that is, as you're shooting, you have the slide reciprocating back and forth, right? So because you have a longer slide than say out of a 4-inch or 4.5-inch barrel gun, that additional weight as the slide is going back in the battery has a tendency to drop your muzzle forward. Now, I say that to say with the Glock 17L, even though it has a 6-inch barrel, I really did not experience that. To me, the gun was actually pretty flat, and the recoil impulse was really soft. It was noticeably flatter shooting than my Glock 47, which is the standard full-size Glock 9mm handgun type, right? So that surprised the hell out of me, if I'm honest. And like I said, the trigger is noticeably lighter than that of some of your other standard Glock handguns, but it's definitely not on par with like a Walther or Canic or something like that. So don't even think that for a second that it is. It's not, period. But it is better than normal for a Gen 5. So I'll give it that. So like I was saying before, I put about 100 rounds of full metal jacket, you know, a little mostly blazer brass through the gun when on the range, and the first 100 rounds, unsurprisingly, I didn't have any issues. Okay, so that's really cool. I didn't expect to have any issues, but at the end of the day, you never know, right? So like I said, no issues, so that's all good. And it took me a little while to kind of get used to it. For some reason, my shots were tracking low to the, well, more so to the left.
All right, so this time we're running a larger grip. Let's see if my accuracy is better than before. Better, but I still feel to the left of me. Correction. Much better. Took a little while to get used to it, but all in all, the Glock 17L is a smooth shooter for a Glock.
And basically that's telling me two things really. Support hand, need more support hand grip, and also my trigger finger. So I say that to say that was all me at the end of the day. But once I put the large back strap on there and I corrected my grip, it was far more towards the center where it should be. So the shots placements are where they are because of me, not the gun, not the sights, or not any of that. All right, so the gun is really good, and I do plan on doing a 1,000 round update video for the Glock 17L here. It's going to take me a little while to do. We've got a lot of things coming up, and ammo is not the cheapest, but I will be running this gun on the range much more often. And I also plan to feature this particular gun in upcoming Versus series with some of my other more race-oriented pistols. So just more so for fun, just to see how the Glock 17L here measures up with, say, something like my M&P metal frame competitor or something like that. But like I said, all in all, Glock 17L Gen 5, it's a good gun. For right, it's a good gun. It's a good gun, at least for right now. The reliability remains to be seen. Got to get the 1,000 rounds in so that way I can give my honest opinion on it. So, what do you think about the Glock 17L? Do you think that a 6-inch barrel Glock 9mm handgun is just way above board? Do you prefer something like the Glock 34 or whatever? Let me know down in the comments section, y'all. Let's get this discussion popping. Also, let me know if you had any experience with the Glock 17L, whether you're talking about the OG Gen, I don't know when they first came out. I want to say Gen 2. Maybe that might have been the first one, or the Gen 3. Maybe you picked up the Gen 5. What do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. Let's rap a taste about it. All right, y'all. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. As always, and this is your big homie, man. I'm signing off. Peace.